Good evening, Mr. Brennan, members of staff, parents and students of Year 11 2024. Welcome to the Year 11 Information Evening, and we formally welcome your son to Year 11. Tonight's meeting is an opportunity and a chance for us to focus on the last 18 months of your son's learning, the tremendous opportunities that will be presented, and the key expectations they have along the way. During the meeting, Mr. Brennan will deliver the Principal's Address, Ms. Ptolomeo, Mr. Bullock and Mr. Bombarderi will consider expectations of academic consideration for Year 11 boys. Ms. Sawyer will talk about pastoral care dimension. Before we begin, let's go through some quick housekeeping. Your son has been given an academic care booklet during homeroom. Mr. Bullock will be referring to this document tonight, so it'll be a great idea for all boys to have that in their hand. We'd like to have one member of every family use the QR code on the last slide of tonight to register each boy's attendance. Like we do at Greg's, we'll kick off this evening with an acknowledgement of country and prayer.
Jingiwala, Nalanganana Tangara, Jagun Migunu, Jandamani Nali, Nalanganana Tang, the Tangan, Nubuyan Bayan, Nubuyangu, Gurumanali Jagunguno. We acknowledge the ancestors of this country. We pay respect to our elders, past, present, and future. Please look after this country. Bookbed.
The world waits for a miracle. The heart longs for a little bit of hope. Oh come, Emmanuel. The child prays for peace on earth, and she's calling out from a sea of hurt. Oh come, Emmanuel. And can you hear the angels singing? Glory to the light of the world. Glory, the light of the world is here. The drought breaks with the tears of a mother. A baby's cry is the sound of love. Come down, Emmanuel. Here's the song for the suffering. Here's Messiah, the Prince of Peace has come. He has come, Emmanuel. Glory to the light of the world, Emmanuel. The world waits for a miracle. The heart longs for a little bit of hope. Oh come, Emmanuel.
Good evening to the young men and parents of Year 11 2024. And I start by thanking you for making it a priority to be here, albeit online, at our information night for Year 11. Obviously, we've started a very significant time in the young man's life, and for you young men, as we start the year of non-compulsory schooling. You've made a decision with your parents to return to school for Year 11, and for the vast majority, you Year 12, completing with a graduation at the end of 2025 with a HSC. As we get into Year 11, the stakes are higher, but it's also a time where boys absolutely excel. They excel because they have picked subjects that they like and that they are good at. They are working collaboratively with teachers. There should not and will not be tolerated poor behaviour from boys in Year 11 in class. It is the stepping stone to a HSC for most of our boys. And for those boys doing an ATAR course, they're striving to get the best ATAR they can possible. For our teachers, they want to teach boys who are engaged. And my expectation in Year 11 is all boys are engaged in all lessons at all times. As I mentioned, it is a period of non-compulsory schooling, and I'm so happy and really excited about the boys that have returned and the manner in which they've returned. There does seem to be they're standing a little bit taller. They seem a little bit more proud of their school. I've seen some of the interactions I've had, not only with each other, but with some of our younger students. And I've got to say, I'm very excited about what this Year 11 cohort are not only going to bring in 2024, but as a graduating class in 2025. I encourage all boys to be involved as much as you can in Year 11. There are more opportunities this year than I think ever before. I'd encourage you to try things. Over the many years you've heard our school captains, our DUCS students speak at the High Achievers Assembly. And every year there seems to be a common theme of that of balance. So I encourage you to involve yourselves in things that you haven't done before. It may be community service. It may be involved in Saturday sport. It may be involved in chess club or maths enrichment. Or there are so many opportunities for you. So please take those. It's interesting, I was at a school recently talking to some Year 5 students about what they were potentially coming for if they came to St Greg's. One of the boys asked me what was it in particular that I was looking for in a report. And I think it's important I share that with you because it's the same thing I'm looking for all of our boys in Year 11. When we look at work habits, you are consistently doing all of the things that you are expected. If you do those things, you're working in a classroom environment that will breed success. You're working in a classroom of where every boy can be the best they can be. Every student has the opportunity to get the best result they possibly can. And as I mentioned earlier, it's in collaboration with the teacher. It shouldn't be a situation of a master and a student. It should be a collaborative response where the teacher and the students are working in order to get the best result for the student, not only in 24, but obviously as they head into their final year in 2025. Again, in closing, can I thank the Year 11 cohort for the positive way in which they've started 2024. I'd encourage you to continue to have conversations with your parents about things that are going on at school. I'd encourage you to continue to seek assistance from your teachers with things that you are unsure about. Please make sure that you are in the right courses, that you are working to the best of your ability, and I certainly look forward to sharing the next 2 years with you as the senior students who are really in charge or custodians of the culture of St Gregory's College, a college that has been going for 98 years, and it's a college that we're all very proud of. Can I finally thank all of the presenters tonight for giving up their time to give you the information required tonight, and I'm very much, as I said, looking forward to seeing what 2024 will bring for you as the Year 11 cohort. Thank you and good night.
Thank you, Mr. Brennan, and good evening parents and Year 11 students of the graduating HSC class of 2025. It doesn't seem that long ago that we spoke in a similar context to provide guidance and support for subject selection and the processes needed to commence your Stage 6 educational journey. Tonight, the focus has changed. This is it. You have begun the journey, so now we focus on what the journey will be like and what you need to do to be successful. I often refer to Stage 6 as being non-compulsory education. You have made a conscious choice to be here and to continue your education at St Greg's. I love this quote from Brian Herbert. The capacity to learn is a gift, the ability to learn is a skill, but the willingness to learn is a choice. You have all made that choice, and hence you are here tonight. You would have heard many of us speak about the St Greg's Agile graduate, and perhaps wondering why we keep referring to this term Agile. We know that agility refers to the capacity to respond to change and challenges with action, vigour, flexibility and optimism. Agile graduates will possess the skills and attributes needed for success in Stage 6. At St Greg's, we recognise that successful learners are relational, resilient, resourceful, reflective and responsible. Relational relates to the relationships you have with others. To be successful in Stage 6, you will need to collaborate with others, ask for help, value and respect the opinions of others, work in a team, be an active listener, and give and receive feedback in a positive manner. Success is not a given. It is obtained through hard work and commitment. To be successful, you need to be resilient. This means that you need to keep trying your best, even if things seem difficult. Ask for help, set smart goals, value the process of learning rather than focusing on the outcome, and above all, exercise self-control even when you may be feeling frustrated. It is important that you are an active learner in your education. This means that you need to seek out information, look for opportunities, look for alternatives, know what you can already do, and look for the opportunities to solve new problems, ask questions, try new things, seek feedback, and show initiative. To improve, you must be aware of your current. This means using feedback, setting goals, making plans for improvement, knowing your own strengths and weaknesses, and also knowing what is required for you to be successful. You are now a senior student at St Greg's. You are setting the example for junior students and modelling what is expected. So you need to show up and be ready to learn, be responsible, be an active learner, find your why, and above all, take responsibility for your own success. Success is never accidental. Success is a product of hard work, commitment, and dedication to your goals. Every one of you here tonight will have a different success story. Make sure you are proud of yours. I will leave you with another favourite quote of mine. Every education is our passport to the future, for tomorrow belongs to those that prepare for it today. So you need to make every day count. Thank you for joining us tonight, and I will now pass you over to Mr. Bombarderi to discuss academic expectations in Year 11. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ptolomeo. And again, can I welcome our parents, carers and students to this information evening. Last year, we had a chance to discuss your son's future during our course selection process. Tonight is a good opportunity to continue that conversation. It is our hope that our information will be the basis for your continued discussions with your son in preparation for their HSC and beyond. Whether it is your first child through this process or whether it is your third or fourth, the conversation and the journey through the HSC is different for each student, and the discussions you have at this point in the process are essential. My purpose is to consider some important academic aspects of the HSC with you. To begin, let's look at a snapshot of your son's Stage 6 journey. In Term 1 and 2, students begin their new courses and complete their first assessments. At the end of Term 3, students complete their preliminary HSC examinations. While that marks the formal conclusion of the preliminary course, in subjects like mathematics, the content studied in Year 11 can be examined in the HSC. In Week 3, after students have reviewed their exams and finalised their preliminary courses, the HSC courses begin. During these weeks, students can drop a course and move from 12 or 13 units down to 10 or 11 units for the HSC. During this term, students attend the Year 12 retreat and complete their first HSC assessments. In Terms 1 and 2 of Year 12, students complete most of their academic coursework. During Term 3 of Year 12, students will complete their HSC trial examinations. Early entry schemes close and UAC applications need to be finalised. At the end of Term 3 in Year 12, students will attend their graduation and finish school. Their HSC happens in the first 5 weeks of Term 4 in Year 12, and their HSC marks and ATAR will be issued usually sometime in mid-December. In 7 short terms, your son will be moving into the next phase of their lives. To make sure that each student makes the most of their remaining time, the college expects the following: that each student makes their best effort, they follow instructions in the Year 11 academic handbook, hand in assessment tasks on time and follow exam rules, follow illness misadventure procedures, avoid malpractice and complete all my own work, complete their NESA HSC confirmation and log into Students Online. To be eligible for the HSC, each student in New South Wales must satisfactorily complete Year 10. They must also complete all my own work, they must pass minimum HSC standards tests, and they must sit for and make a serious attempt at the required HSC examinations. There are also specific HSC requirements in terms of courses. Students must satisfactorily complete 12 units in Year 11 and 10 units in Year 12. They must also complete 6 units of board-developed courses, 2 of which must be English. For students planning to go on to university, you will need to study 10 units of board-developed courses in Year 12. There are also specific minimum standards for the HSC that students must meet. To receive an HSC, students need to pass minimum standards tests. While most of our students have already passed these tests, we still have several students working towards this goal. The next test opportunity will be the end of this term. In the 3 weeks leading up to the tests, we will hold coaching clinics on Monday afternoons in the Marion Centre from 3:30 to 4:30 p.m. This video contains further information on the HSC minimum standards tests.
Students need reading, writing and numeracy for everyday life after school. To ensure New South Wales students leave school ready for future learning and life, they are required to meet a minimum standard of literacy and numeracy to receive the HSC. Regardless of your plans for after school, you are going to need some English and maths skills to do things like get a good deal on your mobile phone plan. Students demonstrate they have met the standard by sitting short reading, writing and numeracy tests that are available to take online at school. You can take these when you are ready in Year 10, Year 11 or Year 12. You can sit each minimum standard reading, writing or numeracy test up to 4 times each year, until you can demonstrate the minimum standard. Even after you leave school, you'll have up to 5 years after starting your first HSC course to sit the tests and receive your HSC. Your HSC will be proof to employers, TAFE and university that you can read, write and do maths. In other words, you'll be ready for life after school. Visit educationstandards.nsw.edu.au/HSC minimum standard for more information and to see sample questions.
The NESA Students Online website is a resource that all parents and students should be aware of. On this site, students will have access to their record of school achievement, or their e-record. This is necessary to enrol in TAFE and college courses if you decide to leave the college. The site has important information about HSC rules and requirements, and also information about the HSC. Your son's HSC exam dates will be published on this site, and they will access their HSC results through the site. Students will need their NESA student number to log in. Year 11 is very different from K to 10. Your son has a fresh start. Whether things went well in Year 10 or not, the slate has been swept clean and they get the chance to put their best foot forward and start again. It's a new beginning. And, like all worthwhile endeavours, the more they contribute to their education, the more they will get out of it. So we encourage students to take every opportunity that comes their way. Year 11 will require a different mindset from our students. They will need to be focused on growing and developing mastery in their subjects rather than just complying with teacher instructions. They will need to make their best effort each time to be ready for the HSC. They will need to be proactive in their study and completion of their assessments. They will need to value their relationships with teachers and students. They will also need to practice the Morris sense of family spirit. I would pose 2 questions to all our Year 11 students watching this. I would ask them to think about what they would like to achieve in their remaining time at the college and what they would need to do to achieve these goals. I would encourage each family to have a conversation about these 2 questions and for each student to have a plan for their remaining time at the college. Your son doesn't need to have all the answers right now, but it is important for them to be thinking about the future. Again, I thank you for your support tonight. At this time, I'd like to welcome Mr. Bullock, our Stage 6 Academic Care Leader, who will speak to us about important academic considerations for Year 11.
Good evening to parents, guardians, and to our Year 11 cohort of 2023. My name is Mr. Bullock. I will be your son's academic care leader for the next almost 2 years as they progress through Year 11 and through Year 12. The boys have obviously been lucky enough to have a number of academic care leaders in prior years, so they understand mostly what the program looks like and what it's about. And some of those themes will continue throughout Year 11 and 12, and there'll be some new ones that we introduce along the way as well. The boys have been introduced already. I've spoken to them as a cohort a couple of times, so they should know me by face at least by now and where my office is. But for parents at home, if you'd like to contact me, please feel free at any time if you have any concerns about your son's academic care at the college over the next 2 years via email or call the college, and I'm happy to respond to you in that way. So tonight we'll go over a number of slides with you in regards to some important information that needs to go out to both you and the students, so the boys are up to speed on exactly what the expectations are throughout senior school. My role in an academic care capacity involves a range of things. They include managing known leave, so if you are planning any leave over the next 12 to 18 months, can you please touch base with us and let us know, in particular if that's going to be 5 days or more. That will need to be approved by the principal of the college. There will be a range of stage-specific group presentations that we cover. I've already covered how the HSC works with the boys last week, and hopefully they feel a bit more confident and comfortable about their understanding of how the next 2 years are going to work for them academically and leading up to the HSC exams. Course selection is essentially done at this point. There has been a number of late changes, but we've covered most of those. But going forward, in terms of dropping subjects moving into Year 12, that will be discussions that the boys will have with me, or parents, you're welcome to contact me for any information regarding that. We'll work on organisation and time management skills. They're our HSC minimum standards. We also have available homework club on a Monday afternoon, open to the boys until 4:30 p.m. and the library is also open on a Tuesday until 4:30 p.m. So please encourage your sons to make use of that time where they can. Part of my role also involves a range of analysis, whether that be NAPLAN or HSC results, obviously. Report analysis is completed after every reporting period as well. Students can access my help by either self-referral. They certainly should be aware of where my office is now, and they can come and knock on my door at any time or flick me an email to come and chat at a recess or a lunch if they wish. We also identify that through our analysis that's undertaken, as mentioned, through reporting periods. It could be a year leader or a classroom teacher or any support staff that also refer a student to us. And parents, if you're noticing a decline or some issues that may need to be worked out, then please feel free to contact. Some of the areas that I'll be focusing on in terms of our group stage-specific presentations include goal setting, as mentioned, time management skills and how to study for the HSC. We look at academic expectations, We look at maximising our senior study time. For most students, that won't happen until the start of Year 12, when they take a subject out of their 13 units or 12 units and they have 6 or 7 study periods a fortnight. We look at some report evaluation, so the students will do their own evaluating on how they're progressing throughout Year 11. I'll explain to them how to understand the ATAR and what that means, especially for those students attending university next year. And we'll look at some university options with Mr. Ivanchuk in particular. We have an external group called Elevate, which will come in to work with the boys on study skills also. And growth mindset is another session that we'll cover this year with the boys. Now, in terms of assessment tasks, these are a very critical part of Stage 6. For the HSC, 50% of each course is based on school assessments. So for that reason, NESA has very strict rules around assessment procedures, which we will outline tonight. In September, students will complete their Year 11 end of course examinations, which will be a preparation for next year's trials in the HSC. So in the back of the handbook that students will receive are assessment schedules for each course, including the date of those tasks. So students will find that there are a number of times with relatively few assessments throughout the year and times where there are a number of assessments at a similar time. And the key is for the students to prepare during the lighter times so they're ready for the busier times. It's always a good idea to have these dates on the calendar so you can check in with your son to see how they're going during those times of busy assessments. In terms of illness or misadventure, these procedures are designed to assist students if they are unwell during an assessment or experience a misadventure, such as a death in the family, a car accident, or a natural disaster. For any illness, visit a medical professional and a medical certificate must be obtained. Then the students will need to complete a student assessment form, which are located in student services. There is also digital forms that have been sent to students and on the central parent-student portal on SkyBlue. That form needs to be submitted earlier, if possible, but no later than 8:05 a.m. on the first morning you return to school. It can't be 2 or 3 days after you have returned to school. And Mr. Bombardier will email approval and instructions to that student, their parents, the teacher, and the leader of learning. In terms of approved leave, if your son will be absent from school for more than 5 days, as mentioned, you will need to seek permission from Mr. Brennan by emailing Ms. Stott. Please also copy me into that email so I can work with your son on submitting a student leave form. If, as part of the leave, your son will miss an assessment task, they will also need to submit a student assessment form. So for assessments, leave will be approved for college sports representation, state and national pathways, and college student leadership events, and they will be on the calendar, but they will not be approved for holidays or events that are not listed on the college calendar. In terms of malpractice, this involves a student receiving unfair advantage in an assessment. So essentially, malpractice involves plagiarism, being copying someone else's ideas, collusion, receiving assistance from others in an assessment, like a tutor, for example, and any breach of exam or assessment instructions. So our students have completed the NESA program, All My Own Work. They've done that in homerooms this week, and if they haven't, they'll need to catch up on this. This course is completed by all students in New South Wales in Year 11 and Year 12, and it focuses on the concept of malpractice and academic scholarship. So there are some consequences of malpractice if students are caught, and they include being awarded a 0 for the task. It could be an N award warning letter being sent home or an afternoon detention. They will still need to complete the task or recomplete it also. In terms of end determinations, this is a warning letter, and it's the college's way of letting parents and the students know that the course is not being satisfactorily completed. These letters give students a chance to fix the problem so that they can get back on the right track with their work. These warning letters are not just given out for assessments either. They can be given at any time where a student has not demonstrated diligence and sustained effort in coursework. So in the letter, students will be told exactly what didn't go to plan, and they'll be told what they need to do to fix things and a time frame attached to that. If the problem has not been fixed in the recommended time, a second warning letter may be issued, and the college will then set up a meeting with the student and parents. And finally, the student may be end determined, which means they will have deemed not to have met the satisfactory minimum requirements to complete that course. And that consequence means that the course cannot be counted towards the student's HSC, which could also mean that they have not completed the 12 units necessary to progress into the HSC year. So in the HSC year, it also could mean that the student does not receive a HSC at the end of year 12. So we don't want any students falling into this category, obviously. So if there is an issue with assessment tasks, please have the student see me as soon as possible. It's obviously a situation we want to avoid. In terms of our home preparation, there's 4 essential elements. We have homework, assessments, study and broader reading, and of course, a balanced lifestyle. So there's some expectations there in terms of homework. It might be 20 to 30 minutes per subject per night, and up to 3 to 6 hours on weekends in terms of completing that homework or study. So it could range anywhere between 12 and 36 hours. Essentially, the more time spent, the more knowledge and understanding, hopefully, that's sinking in, and the greater the results for the students. So again, if there's anything we can help you with, from assessment, submission, to advice on choosing the right course to drop potentially at the end of year 11, then come and see me in the Marion Centre at recess or lunch. And now I welcome Ms. Sawyer, our year 11 leader, to address you. Thank you.
Good evening. I'd like to begin by thanking you all for taking the time to be present here this evening. Year 11, like all other years, is an important year, but particularly because we're going to be setting your sons up for the skills that they need in order to have a successful HSC year starting in term 4. Year 12 is a big step up in terms of a responsibility as a student. I thought I'd begin this evening by talking about our Year 11 motto for the year, and that's the power of presence. There's 2 parts to this. The first one is about the presence they have amongst the junior students. Soon our Year 11 students are going to be leading the college, and the way that they role model themselves is extremely important, and it'd be lovely for them to get to know the junior students over the next 2-year journey. The second is about how they present themselves. So we've had a big focus this year in the start of the year about getting the little things right, from having our socks pulled all the way up, our shirts tucked in, the way that they hold themselves and they sit at mass, the way that they stand at assembly, and just having that presence and the power of that and how it displays across the rest of the college. You've already heard tonight that there's a significant amount of collaboration that occurs that ensures our students are cared for academically, and you have an awareness of the career pathways that interest them in the future. But all of this is done in conjunction with our Year 11 homeroom team, who provide the pastoral care that's required for a successful journey over the next 20 or so months. The team brings a wealth of knowledge and experience in a huge range of subject areas, along with enthusiasm and passion to play their part in the pastoral support and well-being of each and every student in their care. We are all here over this time for the students, so if there's anything that you ever need, please drop in and have a chat. I won't introduce each of the homeroom team members individually, but I do want to give a special mention to Mr. Limbry, who'll be working as our assistant year leader this year. Mr. Limbry has worked with these boys over the past few years and knows quite a few of them, and it's great to have him on board and working along, and we're both very excited to be working with the boys this year. So Year 11 is a big step up in terms of responsibility as a student. Along with the increase in responsibility comes an increase in expectations. As senior students of the college, we assume that the boys are here because you want to be here and that you value your education and you're committed to learning. It's expected that everyone here will work to achieve their own personal best while allowing others to do the same. And it's expected that you will treat every person with courtesy, listen to others with respect. It's expected that you'll maintain a safe and secure school environment and take responsibility for behaviours and actions. And it's expected that you'll model and support the college's high standards and expectations, beginning with wearing your uniform with pride. In doing this, you will notice a change in the way you interact with your teachers. The bond you create over the next 2 years with your classroom teachers will extend beyond that of just a maths teacher or an English teacher to someone more of a mentor and a guide, someone who's going to help you fulfill your potential and your dreams. In being treated as a young adult, you'll also be expected to behave like one. The way that you respond to these challenges will begin to define you as an individual and prepare you for what is to come after school. I thought we might just go through a little bit of what's involved in the pastoral care sessions for this year. We started early on this year with an introduction to senior school run by Mr. Bullock. introducing the HSC and various changes from Year 7 to 10 into Year 12. We're also going to have a look at how to get involved in the senior school. One of the things that we do at the end of Year 12 is we give the students an exit survey, and one of the questions on that is what advice would you give to the current students? And overwhelmingly the advice is to get involved in as much as you can. So already we've been pushing that to get involved in the senior school as much as possible over the next 2 years, because the time really does fly by and you don't want to be sitting there at the end of Year 12 thinking, I wish I had have done that. So absolutely get involved in as much as you can for as long as you can over the next 2 years. We're going to have a look at some mental health and particularly ways in managing stress over the coming 2 years. We're going to have a look at the importance of sleep and exercise and getting that balance right between the work and study ratios that they need to have. We're going to have a look this year in Term 4 at working with the Big Brothers. We're going to do some training with our Year 11s this year so that they're ready for when Year 7 coming next year to help them in the Big Brother program. And we're obviously going to have a look at some leadership. In Term 3 this year, we begin our voting process for our new leaders. And it won't just be the boys that are our elected leaders that will be leading. It will be our entire Year 11 cohort once they become Year 12, which will be the college leaders. We'll have a look at some mindfulness sessions. We'll have a look at some time management, organisation, goal setting, and some exam preparation and study skills. We're also incorporating a number of career sessions into our pastoral sessions this year. We have our gap folders that the boys will be working with in conjunction with Mr. Ivanchik and the homeroom team. We have a number of outside people coming in to help to look at it this year. We have some old boys that will come back for various presentations and advice. For those that have already been involved in the Black Dog Institute Future Proofing Survey, that will be continuing again this year, and there'll be another session in Term 2. We have the Elevate Education team coming in, which is a group of recent HSC students that tap into aspects of mental health and academic, and to help them with their study skills. And we have a program called You Turn the Wheel, which is a full-day driver education program, which is a valuable experience, which will be run also in Term 2. In Term 4, we head off to Mittagong for our retreat, a Year 12 retreat. So it's a compulsory event, but it's a significant event. If you ask many old boys of the college, they'll say that one of their fondest memories of school is Year 12 retreat. So this year it's Term 4, Week 4. It's the 4th to the 8th of November, and I ask you to please not make any doctor's appointments or other commitments during this time, because it's an absolutely important and rewarding week of school. So I'm going to put a challenge out to the gentlemen, Year 12 2025. I need you to start thinking about how you can make a positive contribution in your remaining time here at the college. There are endless opportunities for you to get involved through numerous co-curricular activities, whole school events such as carnivals, feast days, the interactions with your staff, peers, younger students, and of course how you approach your studies. I want to challenge you to get involved in as much as you can, and it is my hope that every student sitting here tonight will get themselves involved in at least one aspect outside of studies. As a grade, I challenge you to work as a team over the next 2 years. Look around when you're at school and you'll notice 150 young men surrounding you in the grade. It's these young men who you will share your senior schooling journey with. It's these young men who will stand beside you at graduation day in 19 months' time, who will be singing the final Psalm with your arms in arms, tears rolling down your face. And challenge you to embrace the journey together as one team. Be there for each other when the journey gets tough. Reach out for each other and support each other. Celebrate each other's successes. Encourage each other to get in and have a go. And most importantly, leave no man behind. It is together that you will rise and together you will fall. How you support, encourage and challenge each other will determine the mark you leave behind as a grade. It will be the start of your bonds of your lifelong friendship that you will leave with at the completion of your schooling. The 150 peers standing beside you will become your network for life. So I leave you with this. How will Year 12 2025 leave their mark on the college? Don't wait until Term 4 when you become the student leaders, when Year 12 begins. Your leadership starts now. Your time to get involved starts now. And the way this year group will be remembered starts now. Once again, I very much look forward to working with these young men through the time ahead and want them to know that my door is always open should they need any assistance. Similarly, as parents, please feel free to contact me via phone, email at any time, and I'll get back to you and support both yourself and your sons for the next 2-year journey. Thank you.
Thank you to the young men and the parents who have joined us for the presentation this evening. As was mentioned by Mr. Bombarderi, I'll do a little bit of a conversation around boarding. Just before I do that, and a couple of tips from me, I hope you're getting a sense from the presentation tonight that the school are really well prepared for your sons and their journeys over the next 2 years. You've heard from Mr. Bombarderi about all of the things that we have to do as far as compliance. Mr. Bullock then spoke about how we can do our academics very well, and we do really work very hard, and it is intentional that we look at all aspects of your son's time here over his last 2 years. I'll talk very briefly now about boarding in the absence of Mr. Morrissey, which for those involved in boarding schools, and this is my third different experience in boarding, the head of boarding is often called away and Mr. Morrissey has been at last minute. But I did want to take the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about boarding and what is offered here and why it is the only school in Western Sydney that does provide this opportunity. You'll see there on the screen there is a number of advantages to boarding, and probably the one that I would point out the most there is just that the opportunity to have a structured routine. I know when I was director of boarding, the opportunities that were provided to the students here were far better than I could provide for my own children. As parents, we're often busy and called away to do different things, but as far as a boarding routine goes, there are staff who are on duty to ensure that the routine that is published is kept to structure at all times. So if someone can't be there, then obviously somebody steps into their place straight away. In regards to tutoring available, and this is what become a real major focus in our college over the last sort of 8 to 10 years. We do employ students or ex-students who've recently graduated, as well as another tutoring company, to ensure that the boys in the senior years particularly get tutoring in all of the main subjects. And you'll see an extensive list there. And that would occur every time that there is tutoring or every time there is study. And as you saw from the slide earlier, that's 2 to 3 hours a night from Monday to Thursday. There are a number of options available to parents, particularly those parents who are already at the school. And there is an opportunity of a free trial to see whether it is something that your sons would be interested in, and importantly, something that works for you and your family and your own routines. One thing I would mention at this point, we are very full in Year 11 and 12. There are limited spaces available, but there is opportunities you can see there for all the different types of boarding options. One of the ones that have become popular recently is the extended day option, where the students come to school at the normal time, and at the end of the day they get involved in their sport training. They'll obviously get prepared for study. They'll do a period of study, they'll have a meal, and then they're ready to be collected. So there is a lot of flexibility there around the needs of particular families. So if this is something that does interest you, there is a great opportunity for you to contact Mr. Morrissey. The next slide will go through how best to contact him as far as emails and phone numbers are concerned. Or you could also contact our college registrar, Miss Bianca Sirachi. Don't stress if you haven't got time to write down numbers or emails. This slide or this presentation will be given to you tomorrow at some point. Just the final things from me, as speaking as principal, I guess, are the top 10 things that over the course of many years have demonstrated an opportunity for boys to be successful. And again, I won't insult you by reading them all out, but there's a couple of things there. It is just so important that boys stay positive, because there's going to be plenty of challenges for the students and many that they haven't had before. And it will come down to making it happen yourself and working hard on that. And then the final 5 there that I would encourage you to have a look at, I think the main thing is to take time to nurture yourself. It is so important, self-care at the moment, at all times, I guess, but particularly as you are getting into the stresses of the last 2 years of your school. And importantly, it is so important to show gratitude and be thankful that you are in a great school as young men. As parents, the teachers are absolutely committed to the success of your young men, and we should be really grateful for that.
This evening there's been a significant amount of information communicated. The overarching message is that Year 11 will be filled with opportunity and students will be given plenty of support throughout the college. Thank you for the presenters tonight, and remind us of the meeting to close tonight. Look after your handbooks, look over the handbooks, go through them together. And please also indicate your attendance on the back of the QR code on the next slide. Thank you for your attendance tonight and have a wonderful night.